first symptoms I had was 2018. 2018, I saw some blood in my stool, which was very, very alarming because that was the first time anything like that had happened to me. So I called the doctor, got a colonoscopy set up, and turned out that I had some colitis in the colon is what they told me. So they said nothing about any follow-up appointments, any medications. It was just kind of, let's keep an eye on things and see how things go. So that's exactly what I did, and had zero symptoms all the way up until late of 2022. In November of 2022 is when things started to really go downhill for me. Really bad. I had like a week in November where I had really bad stomach pains, cramps, bloating, just felt horrible. Lasted about 7 to 10 days and it went away. So I kind of wrote it off as like a stomach bug, stomach flu, and just moved on. Then it happened again in December, about another week, to where cramping, pains, bloating, all the same symptoms, and very similar. Then it went away. Then December 30th came around, which was the first night. I went to the ER that night. They did like blood work, CT scans, found severe inflammation in my intestines. And I was also fighting. They couldn't like tell me exactly what the infection was, but they knew that I was fighting some sort of infection because my CRP, my calorie reactive protein numbers came back really elevated. So they basically just gave me antibiotics and steroids to kill the infection and to help with the pain. I had 6 days of steroids. On day 7, the day that I stopped taking the steroids, everything came back. The pain, the swelling, the cramping, bloating. And that Saturday, I remember it was a Saturday. That Saturday was probably one of the worst days of my life. So got some more steroids, lasted about another week. Things didn't really improve. So I went down to another hospital that had more specialists there to kind of deal with some GI stuff, and did CT scans, blood work, all that. And they found an abscess in my intestines, it wasn't large enough to actually drain. So they said they had to treat it with very, very strong antibiotics. And I would have to stay in the hospital for that. So I was admitted on January 15th of 2023. And I was there for 5 days. I got out that Friday until I got done with all the strong antibiotics, and they were able to put me on oral antibiotics and oral steroids. So that was the 21st. Had a couple scans after that and kind of got back to still inflammation. The abscess is still there. My last scan showed fistulous communication between around my terminal ileum and cecum and appendix. So the abscess was gone, but now I had this other problem that I had to try and work through. And actually that day,
and abscess is usually connected. There's usually, when there's an abscess, there commonly could be a fistula, but it hadn't come through the body, or they're just saying they're seeing this in your scans.
Yeah. So it wasn't coming externally. It was just, they said fistulous communication. So kind of like maybe there was one starting or something like that, or something looked like it was going to happen. But that day was the day that they diagnosed me with Crohn's, was the 21st when I found that out. And that's when I started to look for other options.
And so what made you think I need to go alternative?
Honestly, I knew from the very beginning.
Okay.
You see these commercials on TV. If you have this, it can cause this, and this, and this. I was actually, so I always knew that like maintenance medication was not the way that I wanted to go.
We're talking back in February. Now, February, you start searching around. What made you think the S.H.I.E.L.D. program could be an answer of integrity, not being a scam, not be a waste of your time, not be overwhelming? How'd you come up with those answers?
As funny as it is, like now I'm sitting here doing a testimonial. It was the testimonial videos. Like it really was. I typed into Google like holistic Crohn's cures or something, and I found this program, and I probably watched like 20 different testimonial videos. I'm like, okay, like this is like like my story is different, but I feel like there's like a lot of the stories I heard, like people had it a lot worse than I did. And I'm thinking in my head, like if they can get help this way, like I can definitely get help this way. So like this is it. And then hearing your story, and then just the fact that the people in the program have gone through exactly what I have been through, like
the coaches, the specialists. Yeah.
Yeah. Like honestly, Dane, like the last person I wanted to talk to was another doctor. Like cause I told Lori, my coach,
Lori,
on one of our last calls, like she was the first person that I talked to that I felt was like in my corner, that like wanted to take this the way that I wanted to take it.
You know, when we started, you know, and this is a great experience, Tyson, because as you said, not everyone who's hearing your story has 15 bloody bowel movements a day.
Yeah.
You know, you had a unique situation. So you weren't having a ton of bowel movements a day, right?
No.
And you weren't having a ton of bowel movements a day. You were getting the cramping and the pain, but you were on a steroid at the time. So some of those were even hindered, but cramping and pain, you had the fistula tract inside. What else were some symptoms you were dealing with?
Honestly, those were the big ones. And then like this, I had swelling in my lower right abdomen where this fistulous communication or the abscess was. And that's something that was my main focus, was to take care of that swelling, because that was obviously it's abnormal. It's not supposed to be there.
And no one could figure it out. And the antibiotics hadn't helped it. The steroids hadn't helped it. And it would have been, that swelling in there had been there for how long?
I noticed it the middle of December, and it was constant up until 5 days into the program.
I mean, you came in, you didn't have a lot of the classic symptoms, but cramping and pain, being on steroids, fistula tract, the swelling, and even some loose stool here and there.
Yeah.
So are you able to have normal bowel movements every day? No cramping and pain?
Yeah, bowel movements are pretty much in the morning. Sometimes I'll have 2, but it's usually 1 to 2 in the morning, and that's really it.
Beautiful.
Zero cramping.
Normal stool formation's good.
Yeah.
And you and are you still on the steroids or anything like that?
No, no steroids. I stopped those. Let's see. My last day of steroids was April 5th. So about a month. I think I started the program early March. About a month into the program, I was able to get off I was on Budesonide at the time. I was on prednisone, then they put me on Budesonide, and then I was able to get off that like a month into the program.
Do you think this program could have been as effective without a private coach like Coach Lori, and you're doing those one-on-one calls and being in your corner like that?
I mean, I'm not saying that I couldn't do it, but it wouldn't have happened this fast. Like, there's no way. Like, it might have taken me a year, 2 years but like just the way that we put everything down on paper and then applied that to my life, it was just, it wouldn't have happened nearly as fast.
Good on you for being so, because you also acted so quickly. So anyone who's starting to hear Tyson's experience and what he's gone through, that coach helped customize your plan, and you were able to put it in immediately, and you connected immediately. So how important is it for you to be able to have access to different labs that your doctor never tested or never found any of these root issues that we also saw in some of your labs? Yeah,
critical. It kind of blew my mind that I was in the hospital for 5 days, and like the thought of a GI map test or something like that to be taken to see what these root cause issues it was never even discussed with me. It was just blood work, antibiotics, and steroids. So like
when never even did a stool analysis, you're saying?
No. Like, not once.
You're getting diagnosed and they never even did a stool analysis. And that's a problem. It's not stool analysis are the perfect thing in the world, but I mean, we found Klebsiella, we found Citrobacter, we found C. diff.
Yeah.
And it's a non-invasive stool analysis.
Yeah.
I mean, it's beautiful. So right now you're medication free, you're symptom free. You got rid of these problems, 95%. You've been able to change your lifestyle, change your nutrition plan, live a healthier way. Would you say this has been a good use of your time, your investment?
That's an understatement. Like,
I
know. But no, this has been, it's been life-changing for me, honestly.
And we continue to grow and learn. But just with your experience over these last 3-4 months, what would be your piece of advice to someone who's listening to this? They've been listening to 15 different testimonies.
So Dana and I talked a little bit before the start about the alcohol. I think that's kind of what got me into this situation. So chill out on the alcohol. That was my coping mechanism for a few years, and up until all this stuff started, and I haven't taken a sip since, and everything's been fine. But like, I think my
2022 now, right?
Yeah.
Good job, brother.
December 28th was my last drink. So it's been, it's been a bit. I think my biggest piece of advice would be, I think, to believe in yourself that you can do this. Like, and if you are going to do this program, like, do it, like, put 100% of your effort into it. Don't do 50% and think that you're going to get the results that you want, because this is literally, it is a lifestyle change. But if you want to have the life that you want, like, big changes don't happen without big changes. That's like one of my things. And sometimes you have to make those changes in your life to get the life that you want. If you want to be healthy, you got to make healthy choices. So that would be my advice.